I'm a disgruntled Eagles fan, and we're awesome.
Hey, disgruntled, I'm back in Philly, as you can tell, and I'm recovered from COVID. I recovered from COVID earlier this week, which feels like a million years ago. Just like how last night's game versus the Cowboys felt like a million years to finally end. I watched up until the fourth quarter. I don't know why I put myself through that misery. When they were up, I believe it was 37-20. For some reason, I thought the Eagles could make a little comeback in the second half, but I don't know why I thought that. Because every single drive that the Cowboys seemed to go on seemed like a touchdown or a miracle field goal. The only reason why I stayed watching through the third quarter was due to the fact that we stopped the Cowboys early and then we started driving, so I thought we could get a quick touchdown and somehow stop them again, but that was dead wrong. We only ended up getting a field goal to get 20 total points in the third quarter. And then Cowboys just did what they did in the beginning of the game and scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. And they were just running up the score. And this is why Eagle fans hate the Cowboys. And honestly, the Eagles, if the Eagles were in this situation that the Cowboys were in, they would probably run up the score as well. The Cowboys should have destroyed us like they did. And honestly, I'm kind of proud of the Eagles' offensive defense. In the second half, they were keeping pace or in the first half, they were keeping pace with the Cowboys. It was tied until the last 2 minutes where the Eagles muffed up their only chance of winning. They needed to keep pace with the Cowboys. Every time the Cowboys scored a touchdown, the Eagles needed to score a touchdown. Every time the Cowboys scored a field goal, the Eagles needed to score a field goal. They were driving, and then a holding penalty held them back. Forced them to punt, and the Cowboys just drove down in 30 seconds and scored a touchdown due to a muffed punt. Not a muffed punt, but a shanked punt. And yeah, just from that point on, I knew that the Cowboys were going to win, and our only chances of the small chance that we had to win this game was just diminished after they went up 30-17, I believe. After that, I knew it was over because the Eagles just won't be able to score 14 points or at least 13 points to tie without the Cowboys scoring. And I thought we had a little chance in the third quarter, like I said previously, but I liked how we played in the first half. But regardless, this was kind of meaningless for the Eagles due to the fact that we didn't play any of our starters. Most of them were on COVID list anyway, so they wouldn't be able to play. Gardner Minshew played, Devontae Smith played up until he broke the record of Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson's rookie record total yards was 912, and Devontae Smith broke that at 916, and then after he broke that, they took him out of the game for the rest of the game just because they didn't want him injured. And the reason why we didn't play anyone was due to the fact that we have nothing to play for other than maybe the 6th seed, and the difference between the 6th seed and the 7th seed is basically nothing. The only advantage of getting the 6th seed is to have home field advantage due to the off chance of playing the 49ers in the championship game. A 6th seed versus a 7th seed, which is almost impossible. It rarely happens that both the 6th seed and the 7th seeds beat out the rest of the seeds to get to the conference championship, and it's almost impossible as well just due to the depth, how good the other seeds are in this playoffs. But we also clinched at the time of when I was reacting to the Washington game. We still needed Vikings to lose and Green Bay Packers to beat the Vikings, and the Packers did just that, and we were able to clinch. It was kind of confusing how we clinched, but it was basically a three-way tie if somehow the Eagles, Saints, and 49ers all had the same record. And yeah, but we were able to clinch due to the fact of that, because we beat the Saints earlier. That's old news. If you don't know that the Eagles clinched already, then go touch some grass in the football world. Where have you been? That's old news, but I'm just saying that because at the time like I said previously, when I was filming the Washington reactions, we haven't clinched yet, because it was before that Vikings game. But we're in the playoffs and more than likely going to get the 7th seed. We basically clinched our 7th seed with this loss. The only chance that we had to get to the 6th seed is if we would have won, but the fact that 49ers and the Eagles have the same record, it doesn't allow us to get that 6th seed because 49ers beat us earlier in the season, 17-11, so they get that tiebreaker, even though we have a better conference record. Another reason why we clinched was due to the fact that we had a better conference record, than the Saints and the 49ers, so we would have also beat them that way as well. So that's why we also clinched, and that's why the 49ers haven't clinched yet. The Cowboys destroyed us how they were supposed to. We didn't have any starters. Jason Kelce played the first snap of the game on offense just to keep that 122 consecutive games played, which is absolutely insane, especially for a center, because they're up front. They're literally getting beaten every single game up against other 300-pound defensive linemen. So it's just insane that a center was able to keep that consecutive game streak. The only other center or offensive lineman was Joe Thomas for Cleveland Browns. He retired a couple of years ago, I believe, but he had I believe he only missed like 1 or 2 games in his entire career, and I believe that the only reason why I think he played like 10,700 total snaps, consecutive snaps. Then he got injured at the end of his career, which is sad because I think up until that point, he never missed a snap in his entire career. He might have missed a couple, I guess, in his first or 2 seasons, but he had like a 10-plus year or 10-plus season to his career, and he only missed a few games. That's the only other offensive lineman that I can think of who has that long of a consecutive game starting, and Jason Kelce was able to beat that. Or not beat that, but able to get to 122 consecutive games played and keep that streak going. Yeah, Dak Prescott did what he was supposed to, because if he wasn't scoring on every drive, at least a field goal, then there's something seriously wrong with that Cowboys offense. That Cowboys offense have been struggling the past couple games. Against the Cardinals, I think they had 4 straight wins before the Cardinals, but they were struggling. I think they won like 3 out of the 4 after starting 6-1, and then they lost 3 out of 4, and then I think they won 4 in a row. But they're all throughout the game they were saying that the Cowboys offense wasn't really connecting that well the past couple of games, especially the Dak Prescott to CD Lamb connection, which they strengthened, and the reason why they wanted to play their starters was just to get that better connection, in which they achieved. Prime time for them to get their offense all strung together and actually start playing well and get any loose ends out of the way, because that offense was playing against Eagles' 3rd and 4th string guys, and what better opportunity to get your offense connected than to play against those guys. It was basically a preseason game, but with all of the Cowboys starters, except for I think 4 or 5 all Cowboys defense players were out, I think due to injury, and some of them just wanted to be sat. So that's why we had some success early in the game. But Gardner Minshew, he didn't end the game too well, but he had a really great start. He was making some dime plays that I was really excited to see. I hope we re-sign him as a backup quarterback, because he's a very, very solid backup quarterback. And when he actually has weapons, then he can do a lot more, as proven in the second half. Or in the first half, Cowboys beat the Eagles 51-26, in which is scoregami. The first time in NFL history that a score ended 51-26. So at least that went our way, kind of. That didn't really go our way, but I guess a positive that came out of it. But I liked how Nick Sirianni was playing calls, and I believe it was almost impossible to beat the Cowboys, because they're the highest scoring team in the NFL while they're still playing for something with all of their offense and all of their offensive starters, and they were basically still playing for the number 2 seed, and they needed to win, and they need a few teams to lose and win to get to that 2nd seed. But I hope, I've been preaching this on the podcast all the time, 24/7, but I do not want to play the Cowboys for the sole reason that Cowboys will never ever let that down. That if we lose to them in the playoffs, Cowboys fans will hang that over our head for the next 10 years to come, because That's the only going to be the success. That's their only successful moment in the playoffs in the last 30 years. So they're going to hang that over our heads for as long as possible, that the number 2 seed Cowboys beat the number 7 seed Eagles. I know that sounds pretty pathetic, but hey, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but honestly, the Eagles, that'll be so huge if the number 7 Eagles beat the number 2 seed Cowboys, but I just don't think we have the potential to actually do that, just because of how much firepower that Cowboys offense has. But the chances of playing the Cowboys in the playoffs is slim, at least for the first game. We're probably not even going to make it to the second round. That wraps up Eagles Cowboys fan reactions. This one was a really long one. I've been trying to keep them around 6 to 7 minutes, but this one, as of now, before post production, it's 11 and a half minutes, and I just stopped watching at the start of the fourth quarter. And Jason Huntley looks very, very good. I love him. Our running back core is very deep with Kenneth Gainwell and Jason Huntley. They were the starting running back for this game, and they played very, very well. And I love Jason Huntley, how he was able to find gaps and just dash right through it. I feel like we've been lacking that with Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. I guess Jordan Howard is kind of the smash mouth kind of guy, but even then, and Boston Scott, well, they don't really shoot through the gaps like Jason Huntley is, and I really like him, and maybe we can up his trade value a little bit. But I really fell in love with Jason Huntley and Kenneth Gainwell this game. We have 5 really, really good running backs, and thanks for watching.